Back to Grit Gym, guys. Welcome back to Grit Gym. Today we're talking with Rachel, Rise Coffee. If you want to go over to, please do go over to her page, Rise Coffee Cafe IC. Not I, not like I, like
Iowa City.
Like Iowa City, IC. But yeah, head on over there and make sure to like her page and follow what she's got going on over there. Learn about coffee, be entertained by coffee, and her. What do you want to call it? It's not weird.
Journey.
We say weird as if it's a good thing. Like me calling you weird is like a compliment. But like, what do you call it? Peculiar, unique.
What is peculiar and unique?
You.
I guess.
Anyway, Rachel and I come on the show on Tuesdays to talk about, on the show we talk about your health, your exercise, nutrition, mindset, and recovery. But most of us at some point are going to have a friend, we're going to have a spouse, we're going to have a partner, we're going to have, a significant other, we're going to have something, and it's going to help a lot for your health journey, for your life journey, for all of this thing, if you guys can be on the same page, because no matter what, if you're going through life alone, you're just going to be an island. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I did that for a very long time. I think it's a really good way to go. You learn a lot about yourself. But to do it with somebody else, you do more. You end up being able to expand out what you could have done by yourself. It's not a 1 + 1 = 2. It's like a 10 × 10 = 100. Are you going to 10x that? You're going to 10x that out. We're actually going to the 10x event in February in Las Vegas. It's at the Mandalay Bay, so it's going to be kind of interesting. But I'm going to take a wild guess that it's going to be more safe, that will be the safest event probably for like the next 10 years. So if you guys are concerned about us, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. But anyway, thanks for being with us. And today we're going to talk about like a few like social things that are out there on the table, give you some perspectives on it. But do you have anything to say before we jump into it?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're going to jump in whenever as you feel fit. But what do you think about? And this is just like a fun thing that I just saw online. Apparently, The Princess Bride, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, turns 30 years old this year. Which is kind of wild.
It's pretty old.
It's wild. So if you guys, throughout this video, if you guys can put in your favorite quote from The Princess Bride, and if you can write in, if you haven't seen The Princess Bride, if you have the guts to write in the comment section that you have not seen it. Did you see her turn and look at me? Like, wait, someone hasn't seen The Princess Bride? That's crazy talk.
It's been around for 30 years.
It's been around for 30 years. You've had plenty of it. I don't know what your problem is.
Sure. I mean, it's a pretty good movie.
It's a really good movie. It's one of the best movies of all time. And anybody who disagrees with that doesn't get to have an opinion on anything. If you don't think The Princess Bride is one of the best movies of all time. But what we're talking about today, first thing we're going to go over some stuff in schools, like what your kids are taught. And we're going to talk about, should financial education be taught in schools? Give us your opinion down below. Should relationships get taught in schools? So for financial, we teach kids how to balance a checkbook, but who uses a checkbook? Who uses a checkbook for real? So what are we really going to teach them about money, and how much do you know about money? And then relationships. We teach them about the anatomy of sex and a little bit about sex education, but we don't really teach intimacy. We don't really teach love. Like what are we teaching? And then health. Should health be taught in schools too? Do we need to kind of reform what's going on there? So let's look at the reality of where it is now, and then also start looking at some things that we could, perspectives that we can bring up upon this to see if we can begin the discussion that has been kind of growing among small sections of the internet, now that we're all so interconnected, that we're more interconnected now than we've ever been in the history of the world. So now we can talk about these things, but what is your perspective on, should money be taught in schools? Should relationships be taught in schools? Should health be taught in schools? These are your biggest resources, right? Health, wealth, relationships, time. If they're your biggest resources, and my position on this is that if they're your biggest resources, and you can tell me, like, this is me asking you, and this is me asking you guys, if they're your biggest resources, and school is about teaching things, school is about basic life skills.
It should be.
Then should these things be taught in school? What's your perspectives?
Well, I think a lot of what is taught in schools is basically prepping you for college, not really life.
It's not really
skills.
life.
I mean, they do touch
I
on that, but like it's more of like you're spending how many hours at night learning how to do calculus, and that's not the priority. Once you get out of school, like you're not going to sit.
Right. Well, there's two things going on there, right? So I'm playing a little bit devil's advocate because I agree with you. I think colleges, or I think high school, elementary, everything is just the like. I think it was probably built with good intentions, and the idea was to prepare you for life and to the ever growing advancement and progress of humanity and all that kind of stuff. And like I like to think that there was an idealistic view behind it, but I think like the cog has become. We prepare you for college, and then college was, I think, originally a way to further your education so that you could get a better job. I personally don't think it's ever done that. But like, why would you like if the goal is to learn, then why is it to prep you for another bout of education? And then if it's all about education, then why would we stop as soon as college is done?
Yeah, there should be a continuation. Like about what kind of education after college?
Well, like I'm huge on continuing education. Like you know,
Well,
like how much time, you're with me. Health, wealth, relationships, time.
Exactly. So why not start when you're younger so you could kind of expand on
Someone
it?
getting fancy with Socratic method over here. Look at that. But yeah, I completely agree. Like the idea that the majority of the world is going to spend way more money this year on the fuel that they put in their car than what they put in their brain. Like it is a baffling idea to me.
Or they're paying the money that goes towards the education they had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some people's monthly payments on their school bills is more than their monthly payments on the living.
On their house. Yeah, I mean,
they're 10 years out of school or 5 years out of school.
I know multiple people that are paying between $600 and $1,000 a month on paying off their school loans.
I knew someone who it was over $900 a month.
Yeah, I know.
And it was just a 4-year education.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, I have a pharmacist friend that's what he pays. He pays. I think he.
That's probably on the low end because we're in the Midwest.
Do you think it's higher other places? I have no idea.
Well, like think about someone in New York who goes to school at some, I don't know. At some places it's not. This is like a cheaper education compared to some other schools.
You mean like University of Iowa is a little bit less expensive than say like a Warburg or a Cornell?
Private school somewhere else or something in a more affluent.
They've all grown in price, but like to me, like is school teaching the stuff that is going to help you out in life, or is it teaching the stuff that's going to help you out in college? I think that's your contention, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're on the side that school is just teaching you for
I think
college.
they touch
Do you think
on
that's
stuff.
a problem, or do you think that's a good thing? There's two perspectives going on. I mean, there's a lot of perspectives around that. Like it could be a bad thing, could be a good thing.
Well, a lot of times you add more programs or more AP classes because you're trying to get your test scores up. I mean, you're trying to prepare yourself so that college is not such a shock, but they're also missing out on, like, what if you get out of college? I know a lot of people who have never had a job, never had to, like, balance their checkbook, never had to work on a budget, never had to pay off bills.
They've always just lived off their student loans with their parents.
Yeah, and that's the shock.
Yeah, for real.
Seriously.
That'd be tough.
You think that getting out of college, you're going to be able to get a dog and house and have, like, I don't know.
Yeah, you think you're going to be able to, like, you're going to get out of college, your first job's going to pay you $50,000 to $100,000 a year, and maybe you are one of the lucky people that gets pulled off, but that's not what I was thinking. My first year out of college, I think I made $13,000.
Okay.
Does that surprise you?
No. Because I think that's
Well, you know me a
happens to a
little
lot of people.
I think I'm pretty sure it was $13,651.
It's like, wait, I just paid how much money for my education, and I'm getting paid this.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens.
And I don't think it's about that. Like, and there's multiple complaints there. Like my thing wasn't at college. It was that I wasn't able to make it with what I was doing. This is before personal training was what it is today. This is 10 years ago. Personal training is just like blown out of the water what it was before. It's a much better business opportunity space now than it was before. It's still not very good, but it's a lot better.
Well,
yeah, my second year,
to make money at what you do, you have to position yourself in a different job title. Like instead of just personal trainer, it's personal trainer business owner.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, right. Yeah, I can't just be. But that's like part of the reason.
All day, every day.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, because that was the thing. When I first started personal training, it was you got paid by the hour, by the session. So you might get paid $50 for that, or you might get paid $30 for that session, that's what I was getting, $30 per session. But I would only work 1 or 2 sessions a day. Okay. So whenever I get into the conversation around finance, I get my perspective or my political views on like people are like, well, have you ever been poor? And it's like, well, try to find someone who has worked. Well, it was a 2-week thing, and I got paid $159 for 2 weeks, and I worked 60 hours both weeks. So for 120 hours, I got paid $159.
Okay, so you were poor. So
yeah. So like I got a different, but that was a really great thing. I'm so glad that happened because it forced me to get a financial education that it just keeps on growing and growing and growing on how to be good with your money, what you can actually live on, what you can actually save. That was a very good thing for that to happen. I'm so glad that it did, and I didn't go on food stamps or anything like that, even though I could have. But what about money being taught in schools? Should money be taught in schools?
I think so. I don't think that I know anything about money. I mean, we were taught, like, we had one semester or one trimester in high school that talked about finances, and we did we had our checkbooks, and then we also had, we watched documentaries about certain stuff, but I mean, that was only a semester or a trimester in 4 years of school. Yeah. That we were taught anything about money.
Was that in high school?
It was in high school.
Yes, I think you should, like,
and
that
then
should be
elementary school, like balancing a checkbook.
The majority of the financial education I had at school, I remember this is how they figured out that I had learning disabilities out the ass. It was because I came up with my own system, and imagine that. Like, I came up with my own system for how the pennies were going to add up to what they added up to.
What?
I know.
The pennies.
It was like you had to add up this many pennies equals what, this many nickels equals what, this many quarters equals what. Okay. And I came up with a system that, like, I was like, I don't know, but maybe this is how you get the answer, and I complicated it to death basically. And they started looking at it, and they're like, what is it with this kid? And then so then they had started testing me on stuff, and they figured out that I basically can't read. And I have no short-term memory capability, so that's how they found that out. But I'm getting a little off subject here, but that was the majority. And then when I was in senior in high school, we had to learn how to balance a checkbook. That's 100% of my financial education at school.
So yeah, they're kind of setting you up for failure in a way.
I think
they don't.
Failure, or are they setting you up to just be a worker? Go get a middle-class job, stay in the middle class, and do that thing.
Okay, so they're telling you, like, you have to go to college. This is what you need to get into a good college. And if you get into a good college, then you get a good job. And once you get that good job, you'll be financially secure.
Yeah, that's the sale, right? That's what they tried to sell you.
I mean, there's nothing wrong
but the reality is,
like,
you didn't even need to graduate high school. You could go start your
own business. It's not giving you a choice. They're putting everybody into a category, trying to say, this is what job you are going to be good at. This is this is the path you should take. It's not really discussed or like,
there's no options.
You're not really, it's not a discussion. It's more like, this is what people do.
Oh, yeah.
It's not explored.
Live with the status quo. This is just how it's going to go. You're gonna go to college. You're gonna get a good job. You're gonna have 2 kids, and you're gonna have a wife
that kid that's like in the back, kind of questioning it. I'm thinking of someone like you, who would raise their hand and be like, "What if I don't want to be a doctor? What if I don't want to be a lawyer? What if I want to own a business? Or what if I want to be an Instagram model? Or what if I want to be my own brand? What if I want to do makeup tutorials and get paid to do that?
I love that. What if I want to be my own brand?
Well, yeah. So a lot of people don't really understand that side of money and how that can be your total income. So they kind of just push them away from that topic, which is kind of sad.
I don't know if they really push them away. I don't think that they know that it's an option. Like, they don't know that they don't know. I think a lot of this money stuff is they don't know that they don't know. Because, like, one of my contentions with that financial education shouldn't be in school is that teachers are going to be teaching this, or people that are teaching this won't have a good idea around money, and it'll just become this awful thing.
Well, we've also been out of school for a while, so we might not know. It might have changed since then. Slightly. I'm not saying like they're doing financial education classes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like those different job titles are coming up more and more.
I mean,
So they could be.
But even if you read the news, you look at the financial, like even the financial guys that are like, you look at a Dave Ramsey who doesn't know shit about money, and he's out there trying to scare people out of debt. The guy's an idiot.
I don't know who Dave Ramsey is.
He's a guy that he goes on, he has like some talk show, and he's like, oh, you got to be scared of debt. You got to get out of debt. Debt's the worst thing ever. And like, although there are bad aspects of debt, like you wouldn't want a ton of credit card debt, or you wouldn't want a ton of debt on the house that you own, there are reasons to go into debt. If you want to accumulate a large amounts of wealth in your life, or enough wealth to sustain your like your spouse, if you something, you want to make money while you sleep, then you're probably going to have to go into debt at some point.
Okay.
I don't agree with the spend money to make money. I think that's kind of a bullshit.
It's a general idea. It's not like you gotta spend money. Like you gotta be showy with your money to make money. Like
there's things like marketing, for instance. Like if we do a marketing thing, like, and I put let's say I put $500 towards like an ad on Facebook, which has never happened ever. I don't think we've even run. Yeah, I've never put $500 towards any ad. I don't even think I've done an ad before. I'm positive we've never done an ad. I've boosted posts on here before, but I've never done an ad.
That's the new type of ad.
But I don't think, I don't think that is. If you're going to put something out there, it should pay you back. So you shouldn't spend money. It's not actually.
It should be an investment. Money. It shouldn't just be
exactly.
Gone.
But like if we were to teach financial education in school, to me, then everybody would be able to create their own economy. It's a little bit of the Jeffersonian idea, and I really like the Jeffersonian idea. It was this idea. The way that he labeled it is that everybody in the United States needs to be a farmer. But I think that what he meant was everybody needs to be their own economy and create their own sort of industry so that they can build money into that.
Wait,
so they're not at the whim of everybody else. Like, so they don't just. So that not everybody goes and has a job, that there's people that do have jobs, but they're, for the most part, we're all just independent contractors or independent business owners.
Did you say that you had like a classroom thing where you guys did stuff with stocks?
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, I left that out, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yep. It wasn't much of an education, though. We didn't even know what a dividend was.
It sounds fun, like it's interactive.
It was great. I was good at it too. By the time the school, we started out with $10,000, and by the time it was done, I think I had $12,000.
How did that work?
What do you mean?
Like,
it was just it was some kind of program that you just had dummy money. It wasn't real, and so you could, but it was with a real timeline of the economy at that point.
So you guys were watching the stock market.
Yeah. So we basically had play money, and we would buy and sell stocks, but most of the class was geared towards don't pay into the stock market. It was that's what.
Oh, they wanted you to see how you could fail and everything.
This teacher, yeah. Okay. This particular teacher, a different teacher could have taught something completely different because he had a different perspective on it. But I really like the idea from the idealist standpoint that I have. Like, I like the idea of financial education in school because then you wouldn't have people that got laid off from a job and they go home and kill themselves because they'd be able to create their own economy if they had a financial education. They knew how to sell, they knew how to market, they knew how to creative, some type of thing to be able to sell, then they wouldn't have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I never got any sort of education on that in my school.
Yeah, I didn't. Not in school.
It
afterwards.
barely brushed the topic of it. It was like, here we gave them a class about it, so we taught it. It's like giving somebody, we taught them the addition and subtraction, so we did math.
I didn't really even start I did a little bit, like maybe like 5% of my of the year was spent learning about financial, like getting financially free and financial success and that kind of thing. It wasn't about, like, my education was mostly strength and conditioning by far, and then a little bit less about nutrition, and then sports psych was like turned into a huge thing after a while. That's probably what I studied.
College?
No, this is just after. This is after college for me. But you see how much I study. I study for at least 1 hour every single day, like no matter what. Study for at least 1 hour every single day, and it adds up after a while. But I see somebody has a product, I buy it. So, and then I study that thing.
You mean a product?
Somebody has a product that they're selling, like a how-to product, or
I don't like to say self-help.
Self-help's okay.
Okay.
Self-development, self-help, whatever you want to, like. But yeah, I do a lot of that kind of stuff, like self-development type stuff, but also financial. Also, because, like, what's the difference? You're learning about strength and conditioning. That's self-help.
Yeah.
It sounds negative though, doesn't it?
No, self-help is, it's a topic. It's a, what?
Joanne says, I need to go clear up to the top. Oh my gosh, we've been missing these, and it's 12:54. We haven't gotten to like half of what we're talking about. My name isn't Diego Into. I forgot about we even said that at the beginning. Yeah, I like the at the end where the big guy, oh my God, under the giants, like, I am here, and soon you will not be here.
I don't remember.
The Dwed Pirate Wobbits. Yes, and yes, they should be taught in high school. Yes, Rachel, I think high school will prepare you for college. Aaron says, can you clarify an age group for what specifically you're talking about? My point is that you're not going to get far teaching a third grader calculus and seeing my daughter bring worksheets home on fixed versus growth mindset. Oh, that's great. That's cool. Fantastic. Yeah, I see that. I talk to teachers every now and then that bring up the growth mindset stuff. We never got that either. I did get that from coaches though. In wrestling, I had a coach, and I don't know if he was saying that to all of us or if he was saying it to just me, but I think a lot of it was just
goal
me.
Setting?
Well, he just saw me get my ass kicked so much. And my elementary school wrestling coach, he would tell me the stories, like, my first 5 years of wrestling, I didn't win one match. And then all of a sudden I started winning every match. And I was like, if you say so, dude, I'm so tired of getting my ass kicked. But that's how it happened. One moment just kind of happened. He's like, you stick with it. So it was a good coach to have. But yeah, I like, age group wise, financial education, I think,
sooner the better.
Kindergartner should know some basics. That if business,
the value of money, like where does it come from,
or just like the mindset of money, like how often, like, I've said this before to like my nieces and nephews who were out doing it stuff too. It's and I had to switch around and I was like, oh my God, I gotta say that different. But I said, they said, I only have $2. Can I buy this? I was like, well, it looks like you can't afford it, can you? Or like joking around. I didn't say it mean like that, but so I had to reframe that. I had to be like, well, what do you got to do to go be able to afford that? What do you got to be able to do instead of, so the mindset around money, like, is just as important too, that you can start teaching things like, how do we afford that? How do we raise the money to be able to afford that, whatever it is. In theory, most high school, as advised by other agencies, try to teach the skills employers need, which often translate into learning how to learn. But I question the effectiveness of that, as those needs are constantly changing. High school curriculum can't possibly keep up. Yeah, I'm a tough one to, I don't know, Rachel's probably a little bit better. I've been fired from every employment position that I've ever had. So I'm probably a bad person to ask on the employment thing, because I think being an employee sounds awful, personally. but the idea that that's all we're going to teach kids in schools is how to get hired and how to be effective in that employment position, I think is a little sad on some level. What do you think?
I mean, it's setting you up for a certain type of job, but it's not like giving you the option of, I don't know, like when you go into business, it's like half they want you to do a good interview, and I mean, that's a good skill to have. Those skills are all good to have, but
Yeah.
if you want to get a job, not if you want to start your own business.
But they don't teach you sales in school. And it's like you're going to have to sell that employer on hiring you. And it's also selling you on this idea that you're going to have to you're going to have to work the rest of your life. It's selling you on the idea that you go to high school, you go to college, you get a good job, you work that job for 40 years or whatever it is, and then you're going to be able to retire. And when you retire, you'll be able to relax then. And it's like, what if that doesn't happen? What if you run out of money? One of the things that, like, for instance, my grandpa, a really smart dude, really accomplished dude, started with nothing, very self-made man. The way that my grandma actually makes money is he bought farms. He bought all the land around his house, for one, and eventually he just kept on accumulating land around their house. And then he would buy farms, and those farms paid her. My grandma will never run out of money, no matter how long she lives. And you're seeing this more and more, where old people are running out of money and having to move in with their families and not be able to have the care that they need. And so, they're old. They shouldn't have to get a job anymore. So they have to go back to this idea of like having a fucking job, and they can't. And it's really, really sad. But she'll never run out of money because he had the foresight to get a financial education and to realize that if he can rent out this farmland, then she can keep getting paid. And anytime that she needs a little bit more income, she just sells off one of those lots of land to another person who wants to buy and put a house on it.
Something income.
Residual?
Different.
Investment?
No.
I don't know.
I'll think.
And then, those needs constantly changing. And then, the other thing is employers' needs are constantly changing. I don't think most employers, I know I never hire on education level. Not once have I ever hired someone. In fact, a PhD student came in, a PhD kid, he was older than me. He wanted a job, and I knew he was going to be a price pain in the ass. I knew that he was just going to be a pain in the ass. I knew he had no personality. I knew that he wasn't going to get along with people. I knew that he was a little bit of an elitist. And it was just going to be like, dude, I'm going to hate working with you. He's got a PhD, and it was next to this other person that had a really good personality. And I had to choose between these two. One of them turned out to be one of the best people that we've ever hired. It's like, duh. I'm not going to take the PhD kid. He's like, I got a 3.82 GPA, and I have a PhD, and it's like, well, I don't really give a shit, dude. I don't really care, because you're gonna have a 2.9 telling you what to do all the time.
Well, I mean. And
I had a 1.7 at one point. Did you know that?
No.
Weird thing to be proud of, I know. I'm not proud of it. I'm joking around. It's shameful, but. What else? Allison Bell is on with us. Aaron, you're here. 10,000 hours, Malcolm Gladwell. What did we say about 10,000 hours with Malcolm Gladwell? Was that the 1 hour per day thing? I really like that book, by the way. That was Outliers. Outliers was an extremely good book. The 10,000 hour thing was really ruined from Gladwell.
I don't know what that is.
It's a really good book. He's a very interesting author with a lot of different perspectives. He's biracial, and I think he might be. I think he's Jewish and black and I forget what else. Anyway, he's got a lot of really interesting perspectives. Thinks a little differently than most of us.
Lemonade stand.
And Aaron says, yep, part of the reason we did the lemonade stand last summer. Yeah, exactly. I think that's an excellent way to go about it. There is a little bit of conspiracy around this right now. This is part of the reason why I hate on government so much is because where laws are right now, and I'm not saying, I think you should do the lemonade stand. I don't think this is ever going to happen. But legally, someone could come in, and if something bad were to happen, and this isn't to scare you or your kids out of doing the lemonade stand, but you could have, like, literally they could eventually sue you for so much that they could garnish you and your husband's wages and they could take your house. It's the most ridiculous thing for a little kid having a lemonade stand.
I mean, that depends on how much they're making.
And a cop could come by and fine you if you don't have like the vendor's license and all that stuff. A health code inspector could come by and get you in trouble for that too. It's kind of insane.
Dick if they do that.
Yeah, that would take. I said that would take a huge dick. That'd take a huge dick.
Well,
this show just became not PG. That was somebody PG. When I was a kid, that would have been made a rated R.
It just depends on your emphasis behind it, or your.
Yeah, maybe I meant like Richard.
I'm not sure. Okay.
Aaron says yes, about hour a day. Yeah, I like the hour a day thing. I think within 1 year, you're going to probably be top 1% of anything that you choose to study if you go for 1 hour every single day. And it's amazing how much knowledge you end up accumulating and who you become out of the scenario. But anyway, we didn't get to everything we wanted to get to.
What is it? Time?
It's almost time, didn't it? Did it fly? Did it fly? Was it good for you guys too?
So what are some good people that you suggest besides the
resources for money? I personally I think Cardone, like Grant Cardone is a really good guy to listen to about money. I think he's championing the middle. For one right now, I super agree with his outlook that the middle class is failing because it is. The middle class is shrinking over and over. Look at the numbers. It's shrinking, and pretty soon here, and it's because the middle class gets squeezed so fucking hard. The middle class pays for the entire show. Granted, the really rich people, that little 18% that they pay in taxes pays for like 90% of all of it, but the middle class pays for gets hit by taxes the hardest. The poor don't get pay any taxes because they don't have to, for one, but they also don't have any money to take. The middle class gets squeezed so hard, and it's shrinking because of what banks are doing and just how things are. And pretty soon here, you're going to have to pick whether you're going to be a rich person or you're going to be a poor person. And a lot of that's going to come down to who has the financial education. But I really look at the financial education and it's like, I think I have a hard time not saying it's a conspiracy because I know.
You have a hard time saying that about everything.
I know. But how else would you control an entire workforce? Make them dependent on the dollar. If you educate them about how that dollar actually works, they're no longer able to be controlled by that dollar. But I really think like most people would still want a job or something, some kind of project to go to if they were financially free.
Oh yeah.
And then
get bored.
They wouldn't have the obligation of going to their job. They would get to choose, and it would be better. Everybody would be better for it. But that's my utopic idea.
So who else?
So Grant Cardone, I think, is a great guy to listen to. I think Robert Kiyosaki is a great guy to listen to. I think Dave Ramsey is fucking garbage. I wouldn't listen to that guy for anything. Who else? Who else do I have up here? All of the guys on Robert Kiyosaki's team, I think, are great. I read a few of their books. I think that they're absolutely fantastic. But those would be my top two: Robert Kiyosaki and Grant Cardone.
So they should look into this.
Tai Lopez, kind of. He doesn't really.
He has some good ideas,
but he doesn't really teach anything.
But he kind of gets your gears turning.
Yeah.
To like kind of.
But that's it. Like his free content, and I do think you want to learn a lot about anything. You want to get really good at anything. You take your wallet out of your pocket and you put your money on the table. You hire the coach. You buy the thing. When you buy the thing, like things change. It's the weirdest deal. I've literally paid for
kind of like with
courses.
exercise, right?
Yeah. But you just walk into Grit Gym and you're going to take more action on your nutrition and what's his name? Jay Abraham. I think he's a good one too. But you just walk into Grit Gym and you're going to do more Like, don't even touch a weight. Don't do anything. And you're going to end up having better nutrition. You're going to end up having more positive thoughts, more energy, more focus, just because you are around that atmosphere. I've been to seminars before where the energy was so high. I did not listen to anything that the speaker said. All I did was sit there and scribble out. It was like tons of ideas. There was so much energy exuding out of me. I think that's what happens. But
yeah, it was pretty. The energy, it was pretty high.
Oh, you mean at GrowthCon last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron Shaw said, that would take a really crappy person to come along and do that to a kid. Ironically, many cops bought lemonade through the still going to do it again next year. I think you totally should. I 100% agree. What I was, and I'm so glad that you did not take it the way that it could have been taken, because I wasn't trying to say don't do that. I was trying to say the way that the legal system is set up is not conducive to a little kid that wants to be entrepreneurial. Her little sister expressed that she wanted to make some money one time, and I was like, well, let's go to the golf. Let's go to the golf course and pick up stray golf balls, and we'll go sell them to Play It Again Sports. We'll sell them back to the golf storage. And she was like, what? She wanted to go get a job. I was like, don't you dare go get a job. Let's go pick up some golf balls, or let's go to a garage sale and pick up some stuff and look at what it is on eBay, take a picture of it, post it on eBay. Let's do some other things besides going and getting a job so that you can control your time, you can control your money, you control your environment, and start building some of those entrepreneurial type skills. Because
Piper and Chloe, when they were little, they would sell, like, they made artwork. It was so cute. So they did like lemonade stands, and they'd have their artwork and like little bracelets they made. One time she came in and she was like, I made like $58.
That's fantastic.
And I was like, wow.
I think the wheels
awesome.
Are turning. When I was a kid, being entrepreneurial was like a really negative thing. It was like you're a jerk, a greedy asshole if you wanted to be entrepreneurial. And I remember because I wrote a book, like a little picture book. I had like this, like it was like maybe 10 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
It had like little, like 4 different cartoon things per page, so back and front.
So like a comic book?
Yeah, I was really proud of it. And I was like, I'm going to make a bunch of these and sell them for $5. And all the adults laughed at me and said that can't, they just looked at me like I was an idiot and laughed at me and said it couldn't be done. And all my friends were like, why would you do that? Yeah. And I got like really scared and sad and never went and made even one copy. So that's like the story that I keep playing out while I'm writing The Cost of Courage. Is like, you got to finish this. It's not going to end up like I was 5 years old.
I'll show them.
You can do it. Caitlin says yes. So like, I think being an entrepreneur is a great thing to create your own economy. So you're not like being entrepreneurial. Everybody's like, that's scary, that's risky. I think being an employee is the great risk. You don't have any job security. They can fire you tomorrow. They can go out of business tomorrow. If you're an entrepreneur
like Detroit,
that has a financial education, just like Detroit, just like when all those people lost their jobs in Detroit, and only, it was like, I forget what the numbers were, but it was like 27, 30-something% didn't even go home. They went in and they committed suicide. So sad. All because they would have had a financial education. They would have understood that they can go and create money other ways.
That is sad.
Super sad. On that note, anything you want to leave everybody with?
No, I'm good. You got it.
Did I?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. Well, this was really cool to interact with you guys. Let's do one more. Although when you are 32 and end up with a basement full of stuff you were going to sell, it becomes
that's the
an
border.
issue. I made a ton of money last year doing just that. Oh, that's great.
She did make money on it?
Yeah, she made a lot of money. So I think what you're saying, are you saying that you sold all the stuff that was in your basement because you just had it full of stuff? What do you know about hoarding?
Nothing. I don't know nothing about hoarding.
Not anything. That's fantastic though. 9 to 5 is a killer unless you really love your job. Yeah, I sound like I'm trying to put down jobs. I'm really not. I really do. I think jobs are a really, really, really great thing. Jobs provide an income stream, right? The problem is that there's only one income stream. That's what the
what it was.
The risk of a job.
Income.
Stream of income, yeah.
Yeah, your grandma has a constant.
She has a constant
income.
stream of income from multiple rental sources, and she can always go and sell off one of the plots of land.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem with the job is that there's only one stream of income. Really, unless you're the top producer at that one job, then you shouldn't go look for another stream of income. But if you're like topped out at the job where you are, then you should go and look for other streams of income to try to bring more in. You can do that through the stock market. You can do dividends, like high dividend stocks or high yield stocks. I don't really like that one though. That one's fairly risky. You can do the real estate thing, but it's pretty tough because you're only going to get a small amount. The best, or the one that I've chosen to do, is to just try to stockpile enough capital that you can actually make one big investment on one thing to be able to create that other income stream. So you build it up over time, and then you can scout the market for that amount of time, and then you dive in on one thing, and then you start doing it all over again. What's that?
Sometimes it's not going to make you money like right away. It's not.
No, it's about creating cash flow. It's not about the investment. It shouldn't matter whether the investment grows or not. It shouldn't matter if the investment goes up or down. Does not matter. What matters is the value of the property or the value of the stock should not matter. The value should be in the income produced off of that investment.
Wait, what's the thing where so and so % of millionaires have how many flows of income?
Oh, that's a statistic. I don't remember what it is, but
they have at least 4 or 5.
I think it's 7 because
7.
But
yeah,
like everything always comes down to 7, like 7 deadly sins, like 7 days in a week, like there's all these like weird things around 7 in people's minds, and like marketing uses the number of 7 a lot. Like it's always weird. Apparently our minds like 3s, 5s, and 7s. Like even blog posts that have 300 words, 500 words, or 700 words. 3 is always better than 5. 5 is always better than 7. There's all these like weird statistics out there around prime numbers, and especially the number 7. So it could just be bullshit. I don't know, or it could be a real thing.
Sense.
Yeah. 95's killer. Missed the stability though. Real estate is where it's. I mean, Rich Dad Poor Dad style. Rich Dad Poor Dad was a pretty good book. Residual Income. Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad was a pretty good book. I really liked his cash flow book quite a bit better as far as financial stuff goes. But anyway, we wanted to get on a lot of different topics, but we stayed on finance the whole time.
Yay.
Should it be taught in schools? I don't know. I think that's up to you guys. I personally think that financial education of any kind, we're going to get a financial education regardless. You're either going to get money's good or that money's bad, or that rich people agree, or that rich people are able to provide more. There's a lot of different perspectives here. So me personally, I would, if it's my kid or if it was me going back in the past, I would want to curb that education as best I could to where I think it should go, where everybody's financially free. But anyway, anything else you want to say? We're way over time, so we got to end it. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.